October 6th, calling the select board to order. First item up is consider additions or adjustments to the agenda. Are there any additions or adjustments to the agenda? I have a few. What are there? Peter, Tom, I have your list. Paul?
Nope.
So one addition is for the RERC Grant Steering Committee, and it's a procedural question. Carl has asked that we put that before item 12. The other is an executive session. The other item is the intermunicipal laptop. And the last item for adjustment, I would like to do right now, if the board's okay with it. We have in front of us a proclamation for Gene Engel. So I would entertain a motion from the board to accept the proclamation as written. And as written, it says, in recognition of Gene Engel's 27 years of service as the Johnson Public Library Director, whereas Gene has also played a vital role in library programs and library flood recovery, whereas Gene will be retiring on October 31st in the year of 2025. Therefore, we, the Select Board of Johnson, by virtue of the authority invested in us by the Johnson Charter and laws of Vermont, do hereby proclaim Friday, October 31st, 2025 as Gene Engel Day.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
No seconds yet.
Yeah, let's try a second.
Yeah. Oh,
Peter did.
Peter got it right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Gene, this is what I asked you to come for tonight. So you can leave whenever you would like. She was worried about making it. She didn't want to stay for 4 hours of our meetings here. She said, can we make it quick? Hearing no further additions or adjustments, there's one adjustment.
Hang on a sec, sorry. I do have an addition. Is the municipal planning grant? I thought that was on here, but I don't see it. We need.
It's not on there. I think the board authorized you to seek scope of work on that. So it's, I was actually going to talk to you after today's meeting.
Typical.
Just on next steps.
You stole Adrian's.
Okay.
But
I think I'd like to bring it up tonight and just clarify what we intend to do. Perfect. Okay, so if we could add a discussion on municipal planning grant.
You're supposed to be there.
Rosemary testified. Can we add that after Carl's items?
Sure.
We add it when I'm here doing the math.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, Carl. The other adjustment, not addition, item number 9, needs to be approval of all permits and application fees pertaining to the industrial park instead of just Act 50 all. Moving forward, invoices and orders are going around. Questions, concerns, comments? Next up is public comment. Is there any comment from the public? Hearing none, select board issues, updates and concerns. Are there any? Hearing none.
Life is good.
Next up is the consent agenda. I would entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second for public clarification. Consent agenda items are approving the minutes from September 2nd, 15th, 16th, and 29th, as well as retroactive approval for the purchase of a roadside mower.
Well, September 2nd, we don't have, we're going to finish those, I never got that last report. Yes.
So
Just strike that one.
60.
strike the second. Is that okay by the motion during the second?
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Rosemary, floor is yours.
Okay. I passed out the final budget status report and the 2025 cash on hand. And I have uncommitted $359,755. That includes what you reserved out to reduce taxes, buildings and grounds, reappraisal fund, equipment fund, budget, matching reserve fund, industrial park, and tax administration, and other purposes.
Questions about the budget status report? Thank you for the interest on investments. We killed it this year.
It's going up a little bit.
Yeah. Is there questions on the revenue side from any board members? Expense side? Why were we so off in office admin salaries? Was there an error in how that was figured in the budget?
Somebody wasn't. We moved the community development and assessors into that category. I don't know if all that, your time got added in there.
We're gonna have to check that when it comes time for budget season. We should be
Because I think everybody's.
really close to perfect.
Included in there now.
I thought listers was another item and we had CEDS already in there.
The workers' comp was off by an amount too.
Yeah,
To match that, so.
So do you know where that gets fixed when we come into next year, the workers' comp stuff?
that's under
um,
insurance.
Yeah,
So it's not in that line item that we're over. I'm not upset with what was paid. We need to plan for next year, because that should be a number that can be predicted. Further questions? Apparently I'm the only one with questions. So I should just shut up and move on.
I don't have any, but I'm just seeing this tonight, so it's a little.
Skate park, that was the grant, right? That's why that expense is so high.
Yes. Half bike.
TNL, did their revenue go up to match expense?
No, it's kind of difficult because they get all the revenue before the new year and the expenses are in the current year.
Well, is what it is, I guess.
what was the amount of unexpended funds? 300.
159,000.
Do we have a report on the library and industrial park expenses in here?
Yeah.
It doesn't, just
Sometimes
for
it
the town meeting, they kind of ask for something like that when it comes
Yep.
back around.
56 is the library move. Industrial.
So we have 752,000 in the library so far.
Yes,
Or I think
that was
there's-
as of 6:30.
Does that include the telephone and the village?
Yes,
Awesome. I mean.
that's not reimbursement, that's expense out.
So 307,000. What were we expecting?
The library?
Does that include all, no, in cash on hand? Does that include all the proposed cash on hand
Yes,
in town meeting?
yes.
So we're starting out next year in a good shape.
So far, yeah. And with the insurance and expenses right now, I think we have a net good of about $26,600.
So on the second page, yeah.
That's on the first page, right before the community foundation grants.
Okay.
That's leaving out 166,000 of insurance money for library. It's a library building,
That's part of our cash on hand.
yes.
Which is, needs to be, we should make a mental note to hold that aside. We can't use the ARPA funds to renovate the inside of the old part of the building. So that 166,000 is set aside for the front, the old renovation.
That was the insurance payment on the building.
Correct, yep. That was a condition of the grant award.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. Moving on, road foreman report. Did we get that in our packet?
Called him this morning, he did not have a written report for today, but he did say that he has headgear on all of his trucks to get ready for winter, and they're just continuing ditching and roadside mowing for the remainder of October.
Okay. Do we want to have Jason in for the ditching discussion or continue moving?
Want me to call him or text him? See if he can-
It's last minute. Does the board want to take it up?
Probably not necessary.
I think we should at least bring up the topic. I don't think we're gonna come to any resolutions tonight, but I think it should be on our radar as something we need to respond to citizens about.
Changing practice or better communication?
Either or both.
I think it's only fair if we're gonna talk about it, we should invite the foreman in and pay for his time to have a conversation.
Okay, so next meeting,
If the board's happy with that, I'm fine with that.
is that,
Makes sense to have him here. For that, yeah, I'd be fine.
Next
For the
meeting,
next meeting.
good with that?
sure, I mean, that means it's basically over for the year, but
How much more are they gonna do this year anyways?
rest of the month, right?
I know they're finishing up Cotting Hollow, and I think they have the excavator rented till November 1st.
We'll meet again on the, yeah, close to the end of that. Is there something you want to propose, Paul? I just feel like,
No, I don't think there's, I don't know what a good resolution is. My concern basically is we've had a couple complaints from citizens and I think we want to be careful about, we don't want every single property to become a case study to figure out how to ditch it because they never get anything done. So we can't go too far in that direction, but it seems like there needs to be some sort of room for judgment. And I don't think we should burden the highway crew with making those decisions on the spot. You know, if everything's subjective, then they're gonna get blamed for everything. So that's not fair either. So that's why I just wanted to bring it up. It'd be nice if Jason was here, just so he could be thinking about it, knowing that there's some interest in trying to figure out a better way to map this out. I don't know what the answer is offhand, but
yeah,
not talking about it doesn't seem
Miss-
helpful.
this is specifically non-hydrologically connected sections that we're talking about, right?
Yeah, I think the hydrological connected ones are governed by the state, so we don't have a whole lot to say about those.
Yep.
I think it should be, it's clear the ditching is very effective, and it's shown, you know, in the last 2 years with the heavy storms, you know, that the increased volume of water that ditches and the upsized culverts hold, that we've only had one washout, and that was a failure, the upper French Hill culvert, which we were planning on replacing anyways. That's pretty impressive. So it is working. It's just how do you handle those off? And that maybe that's with the communication, maybe it's with an information campaign. And I think that it might make sense to do it at the 16th because it's more of a conceptual conversation instead of a decision.
I'm okay with that.
Sounds good.
The last couple of weeks during foliage, been driving around quite a few different back roads, not necessarily in Johnson, but a lot of other towns, and they're all aggressive, just like we are in Johnson. You know, it's kind of a deal that we all have to comply with. So as far as the ditches go, I mean, that's not much we can do about that. Really.
Well, I'm not sure I agree. I mean, where the hydrologically connected ditches are, yes, that's true. But there's a lot of road that's being ditched that's not hydrologically connected. And that's where the judgment comes in, I think.
Mhm. But you gotta kind of, like Tom said, you know, it has made a great big difference. You know, it is a place for water to be stored so it doesn't get into the rivers quite so quickly and gives it a chance to absorb before it gets down to the river. So, I don't know. Maybe I could see maybe going out with some kind of information about what's going on, but I think we ought to continue to march what we're doing. Just one board member.
I think
Is the hydrologically connected issue, is that governed by the MRGP?
it is. So anything with the slope, I believe it's over 9%. Don't quote me on that, but there's a known percentage and they're marked on our, on Jason's tablet. And we walk, Alex Jones, who walks, we do an annual visit, Jason and Alex and I actually biannual. And we just walk sections and we don't have control over that. If it's over that slope and it is hydrologically connected, you have to do it a certain way. It's really, but Jason's been very proactive about pushing extra segments. And so if we have the excavator and we have the guys, it pushes a little further. And we should be really thankful because it is working and our roads are in great shape. I think the question is, how do you, in those case by case basis, you know, like most recently we had a resident where it was kind of right up against their garden, right? And how do we handle those case by case basis that allows the road crew to do what they need to do, but also is, you know, sensitive to the needs of the residents too. And I think that's kind of what Paul's alluding to, is that balance. I don't think there's,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think it's fair to burden the road crew with them having to make all these subjective decisions. So we need to give them some sort of guidance as to how to handle those things.
Fair enough.
10-16.
Yes.
That's one.
What kind of guidance are we gonna give them if they do it according to what the specs are? Really? If they do it according to what the information they have to go on, I'm sure the state has it all listed right out exactly what they have to do. And if they do it, you know, really that people are gonna have to understand. It's for the good of all.
We do have time tomorrow for a quick ride. I think if I showed you like a case by case, then you could say, oh, all right. Because there is subtle nuance to each situation. And maybe a quick site visit might, you're right. Like when they do need a ditch, you need a ditch and you have to put it in so the depth of the ditch matches the depth of our culverts, or else our culverts are ineffective. And, but I think, you know, we could kind of show you at the start, really it's at the crest of hills. You know, that's kind of where the ditches start and end. And those areas are the ones that are often have houses too.
Moving on. LCPC presentation on future land use maps.
Super, thank you so much for having me. Can I first hand this around? Start here, there's a map of the town, the definitions, and then the village map, just because it's hard to see the center. On the big map, I have some extras for the audience and of interest, probably not enough for everybody. But you guys can figure out that.
One packet handed down. One packet handed down. Rosemary, Donna, these.
Rosemary, you want one?
Want these? All right, handed down. You good? All right,
Yeah.
there's yours.
There's mine.
Perfect amount.
Can't get them by without.
Super, great. And just a quick recap that the legislature passed Act 181. And as part of that legislation, all of the regional planning commissions are required to update our regional plans and to update the land use map for the county using categories defined by the state and a color scheme agreed upon by folks. So as you recall, we visited with you previously, visited with the trustees, and we've made all of the adjustments to the map that were kind of discussed and requested by both bodies. And I'm really here today to share with you the final map in hopes that you are good with this final map. I'm not asking for a vote or anything, but really just to give this to you and have you have a chance to look at it. A reminder that these maps were built from the ground up. Our first reference point was your town plan and your vision for the community. I think the most of the feedback we got was extending the area eligible for downtown designation. In the past, the community had really wanted a larger designated area than the state had allowed. And under this legislation, you have a lot more say over how big that designation is, consistent with the definitions in statute. And I'm happy to answer any questions. And I think I hadn't had the definitions before. I wanted to make sure that anybody had the definitions so that you could reference them and asking questions or sharing information with others.
Now, sure, remind me, is the flood overlay, is that the 100-year, 500-year river corridors? What is that?
That is whatever we were asked to do in statute is the answer. And so I'm not remembering. I've been to a lot of meetings now, so. But I think that I'm glad you reminded me that we're required to show the flood overlay here. And also that even if a parcel is in any particular land use region or area, this is a planning map, not a regulatory map. We've actually added that language in little teeny print on the lower left. It says, drafted for town select boards, planning commissions, and villages. Map is for planning purposes only and not for regulatory use. So that even if you have a parcel that's subject to certain permit conditions and certain constraints, you know, those constraints remain regardless of which area you are in. And you'll see certainly that there are areas within your downtown area where there's significant flood overlay.
Almost the whole thing.
And that's actually, you'll see that a lot of the downtown area is surrounded by that area of transition and infill. Like many communities, you've had discussions about how you're going to grow away from the river. And that orangey mustardy, there's two kind of mustardy colors, kind of represent some of that.
Are there any questions from the board?
So do you get anything back from us? You said you're not asking for a vote.
I'm not looking for a vote. I just wanted to make sure that you had the final map, make sure there are not
Informational.
questions or concerns. We need to have a final regional land use map by the end of this year in order to go through the process for getting a regional plan approved. If you have changes in the future, we can come back and talk about that and update our regional land use map. So really, this is a point in time.
Fair enough. Thank you, Tasha. Let's spend some time with them. That's a sewer service area.
Yeah, just getting him some.
Municipal planning grant, Tasha?
Yeah, I know that you, as a body talked about pursuing a municipal planning grant, and then there have been further discussions about whether you want to change that approach slightly. And so I just wanted to make sure that I was fully up to speed on how you want to proceed so that we can be helpful to you.
Yeah, so as backdrop, a year or so ago with the planning commission, we had proposed the idea of pursuing a municipal planning grant, specifically with the idea of updating form-based code, updating our flood hazard bylaws and bringing those two into compatibility with each other, and also doing a inventory as a starting point for a capital plan. And Tom did some legwork, looking at other options, and Jesse and I spent some time on the phone today, and I talked to Seth as well. And I think backing up a second, I proposed to the board a meeting or two ago that we pursue the municipal planning grant for form-based code, flood hazard bylaws, and the inventory, and the board had agreed to that. With the benefit of hindsight and a little bit of extra work, I think we might have a better plan now. The other alternative is to submit a consortium grant with Morrisville specifically for a capital plan that both towns would get, and then address the form-based code and flood hazard bylaws separately, hopefully with LCPC's help as a function of the community development block grants. So there's another funding mechanism in which we can do that pretty efficiently. And this would make our bid for the municipal planning grant more competitive and more compelling from a state standpoint. So that would be my recommendation to the board. The planning commission is on board with this. Well, Jesse is, I should say. They'll be meeting Thursday night. But barring their approval, I think that's a good way for us to go.
Looking for a motion or a general consensus of the board?
I think we voted on it last time, so I think I'd like to have a motion to make sure we're.
You willing to form that?
So I move that the board authorize us to proceed with the municipal planning grant application as a consortium application with Town of Morrisville, specifically to generate a capital plan. I should say as an aside, that also allows LCPC to be of more assistance to us, both in the application process and the grant management process, which will be valuable.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? That's where your aside should go. Just picking. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Nobody? Really? Nobody?
Thank you. Sorry for the whiplash.
The ayes have it.
Appreciate it.
Great, so it's good to know. So I'll talk with staff and you'll circle around with Morristown about where they are.
We have a tentative call set up for Friday morning.
Okay,
And so
okay.
we'll-
Would you like LCPC to join if we're gonna assist with the application, or do you
I
want to have
think
that
you were-
preliminary meeting?
yes, we definitely would. I'll reach out to Seth tomorrow.
Yeah.
That helps.
Seth has been instrumental in helping make a plan that helps the most people and have the most competitive grants. So if he could be there, that would be really helpful.
Okay, all right, great. And a reminder, you will need to pass a resolution and the usual drill for the municipal planning grant.
Do you have are you guys able to support that at the consortium?
So, yeah, so just to be clear, you can apply as a consortium, just two towns together, or you can apply with, working with us. And we're happy to be of assistance. Usually with the consortium, one community is the lead. So I think that should be a topic of discussion when you meet with Morristown on Friday.
I think at this time,
doesn't-
Morristown is offered.
Yeah, they kind of have a plan. They
Yeah.
looks like they'll take the lead, but thank you. Yeah, we'll clarify
Mhm.
that.
Okay, because yeah, it's just important which municipal official presses the button when the application goes in, so.
Great.
Okay.
Great, good. Well, it sounds like you have a plan and I'm glad you have the maps and anything else or?
Thank you very much.
That's it.
Did
Thank
we
you.
include the capital plan in that motion?
I'm sorry,
Yes.
I did.
Yeah.
You
You
did,
did.
okay.
Thank you,
I seconded
Tasha.
it, but I wasn't sure. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you so much. I
Thanks,
appreciate
Anja.
your time.
Thank you.
All right, next up was the amended item. The amendment was approval of Act 250 permits to approval of all permits, permit application fees, and assigning a signature for the permit applications. Now, for the public, Act 250 is exempt for municipalities. Potable water, wastewater disposal system is exempt for municipalities. Public water supply construction permit is a $900 permit. Construction stormwater permit is a $100 permit. An operational stormwater permit is $4,950, and a V-Trans 1111 permit is $250. Now, those were in our orders, but I would entertain a motion. Is there anything you need to add to that, Carl?
Just for your information, the reason this is presented for your action tonight is that the engineers have told us they're planning to submit the Act 250 application this Friday. So they wanted to get your approval so that this could go in.
With
That's
the-
great news.
This was certainly a long time coming.
It's exciting.
Should have been done a long time ago.
Special thanks to you, Carl, You've really moved this project quite along.
Everybody involved.
Do you need a motion?
There's one in the packet. I was gonna let Peter have the glory here.
Oh, wow. I feel special. But we're saying to sign all permit applications, right?
Yeah, that would
Okay.
be sufficient.
All right. Move to authorize the chair or the town administrator to sign all of the permit applications.
Is there a motion? Is there a second?
For the industrial
Is
park?
it tied to the industrial park?
Yeah, let's tie it to the industrial park and the Act 250
No, Act 250. It has to be industrial park.
industrial park, sorry, right.
I can list the applications if you want. Would that make the board happy?
I don't think we need to,
Three.
but-
You have to tie to the industrial park
Okay.
because you don't want to give them authorization to sign
So
every single one.
anything you guys want. Move to authorize the chair or the town administrator to sign the following. Act 250 land use permit, potable water and wastewater disposal system permit, public water supply construction permit, construction stormwater permit, operational stormwater permit, and V-Trans 1111 permit.
Second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, and the ayes have it. Next up is Legion Field Hearing Facilitator RFP Review and Award. Paul, would you like to, Paul and Tom, combination? of two?
Sure.
Someone?
So we had in the packet last meeting, the RFP. We didn't get any responses by the deadline, but Du Bois King contacted us the day after and said, can we still submit? We said, yes. They've submitted. We since revised it slightly to include some additional monies to allow them to complete the final drawings if we need them to. And that is also covered by VCRD monies. So it's completely reimbursable, and I would move that we proceed with Du Bois King for this award.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there further discussion? So this is it's all reimbursable.
100%.
Okay. Carl, anything to add? We're good? All those,
Now, the other, I think, key piece of information is that Du Bois King in the proposal said that they could get started right away, which we thought was very good news.
certainly. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
And the I vote aye. Adrian is not logged in. Town sewer service area update, ordinance and map revisions.
I have handouts to help with the discussion. Give you was 2 pages out of the last ordinance adopted in
Thanks, Bill.
29. You. So this was brought to my attention middle of last month, and because it's connected to the industrial park. And from the information that I've been able to gather, this discussion about this started in August of 2024, and it proceeded a short ways, and then there was been no action on it since then. What I have been able to collect through the various emails that have been sent to me is I have a draft map that LCPC started last year. And I have the 2009 ordinance. I gave you 2 pages out of that. That ordinance refers to attachment A, which is supposed to be the official map, but that seems to be missing. And I did see in an email that used to be on the town administrator's wall before the flood, but because of the flood, it was deteriorated and was moldy, and it was disposed of. Rosemary was able to supply me with maps from a 2002 action by the select board, and then an update in 2005. And so I have 5 questions for you tonight. So what I've read was that the select board was considering not just adding in the territory of the industrial park lot that is not within the village boundaries, and adding in portions of lots that are bisected by the existing town sewer service area. That's mostly out Route 100C, out towards Sinclair Road. There are a few lots out there where the existing TSSA runs through a lot, and one of them fairly significant in size. So that's one question, is that, do you want to continue with that change as we're working on this now? Another question is about Article 4, which is on the page 3 of what I handed out to you. Article 4 about priorities. I didn't know if you wanted just to continue with that, or if you wanted to add in something specific regarding the industrial park or lots within the industrial park. Question 3 that I have is that I was told that the town had asked the Regional Planning Commission to not only work on updating the map, but also to produce a meets and bounds description of the TSSA. Just so you're aware, that would involve a lot more work by the Planning Commission. So I wanted to know if you wanted them to continue doing that. 4th question is, maybe you can help me with this. On the front page of what I gave you, page 1 of the ordinance, it refers, I'm sorry, not on the front page, the process in general. Right now, the ordinance reads that somebody wants to apply for a sewer line extension in the TSSA. They first come to the select board, get the select board's approval. with select board approval, then that applicant could go to the village trustees to seek their approval of extending the sewer line. And wanted to know if you wanted to continue that, or if you would think that if you've taken action to designate a town sewer service area, then anything within that area should be okay for a sewer line extension. Otherwise, why would you have included it in the SSA? So, and the last question is what's on the front page. Article 1B, number 1, seems to, it's the last sentence. I think it's underlined on your copy. It says, no other extensions of the village sewer system may be allowed within the TSSA by this ordinance. And it seemed that that's sort of the whole purpose of doing the TSSA and everything else that's spelled out in this ordinance. I was just, maybe somebody else reads it and can explain it, but to me, it seems like it's contradicting the intent of all this.
Yeah, it is to me too.
So I don't know if you've been talking about this at other meetings that I haven't attended, or if you need time to think about this. But just let me know, or maybe you could answer some questions tonight and you want some time to think about some of the others. But the first question that I brought up was, do you still want to include the remainder of the lots that that are bisected by the boundary, whether it's, well, it'll be an existing boundary. If that's what you want to do, then the new boundary would follow lot lines and not cut through a lot.
Right. I believe, and I would lean on Paul for this, because Duncan brought this up long ago. We probably would have had it squared away. But he was working with Paul and Alec Jones on the maps and verbiage. I don't think this board has gotten really in the weeds of it. We're kind of waiting for a report back. So high level, I don't know if I can answer all those questions independently as a single board member tonight. If I had them in a list and could research.
A list of the
impacts
lots.
A list of your 5 questions.
Oh, okay.
The lots are all right on the map.
Carl, when do you need responses from the board? What's the urgency relative to the industrial park?
I don't think that this affects the Act 250 process at all. It's really more a matter of just getting it done so that during implementation. So this could be worked on over.
So even if we have a corner that's not covered by sewer, that's not going to be a thorn in our side.
So the that's one section.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think so. I think that, the plans show that it's going to be in. The plans show that the work is being done to the village specifications for sewer
And the
pipes.
village has already approved that, is my understanding. Is that?
They signed off on acceptance of ownership after installation with a couple of recommendations 18 months ago or so, give or take, 2 years ago.
And the engineers continue to talk with village staff
Okay.
about
So this-
details regarding both water and electricity, sewer and water and electricity.
It is a lengthy process. First to research and answer those questions, and then changing any ordinance, you need at least a month. So if we're shooting, and as we enter budget time and town meeting, just have this in the back, just always moving forward, so we're not rushing it at the end. It's kind of the idea.
Can we take it up at our planning meeting, which would be next meeting? Can we get that list of questions by then?
I could, yes, I could put these questions in, like a memo form for you, and if I could also start researching any questions that came into your head right away as I read these questions off to you. Anybody has anything?
Number
like
one
to be
question that came
checking-
into my head is, when can I call Duncan about it?
I've got some emails from him about it, so we can definitely get information. He's willing to chime in.
Yeah.
Well, I had a question about the meets and bounds. My understanding is LCPC is already working on a map and meets and bounds descriptions, but I don't know where they are on it. You said there's a lot more work. Is that something that
Well,
we need?
My understanding would be that you'd have to look at the deeds for each of the lots around the perimeter, then lift information out of
Okay.
those deeds to say that starting at a point such and such and proceeding X number of feet, and
Yeah, right.
so.
Legally, is that something we should have, or is would a map suffice?
I think the map would suffice.
A map is what we've always had, correct?
I've seen no reference to meets and bounds descriptions
Yeah.
before. I'm not sure what the reason was for suggesting. Maybe somebody knows something more than when I've come across, but that might be a
One more
question for Duncan.
There's one person that knows. Any other questions? Nothing popped in my head.
Just to
Would the-
clarify, your question two was about Article 4. What is that, or where is that?
Article 4 priorities. So it's on the page labeled 3 out of the ordinance. At the top half of that page, it says allocation permits, and then it goes to
Yeah.
the following priorities shall govern allocations. And there list 5 priorities. And that's where I was wondering if you wanted to insert something about the industrial park, or if you're comfortable with that being addressed by priority number 4, connections to structures built after the effective date of this ordinance, or even number 5, where the select board may grant first priority and waive first come, first served provisions.
I see, okay, thank you. I missed that part, okay.
I don't think we live in a town where the list is long, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so if you could send us those questions in better detail than I just wrote down, that would be great. We can talk about it next meeting.
Okay. Next up, I might need your help with this one, Carl. The RERC grant. I believe Carl had a procedural question for the steering committee. And the question is, would the board like to appoint them or not?
Right, so for the viewing public and people in attendance here, RERC is Recreation Economy for Rural Communities. It's a grant the town applied for last year, and the formal announcement of that grant award came out last Tuesday. And so it is official that the town has received this grant from the US EPA. There is no money attached to this award. Instead, it's a technical assistance grant, meaning they're going to send some people here, both federal employees and consultants, to help Johnson with this planning process. So a year ago, the previous community and economic development specialist applied for this grant and had to supply a list of steering committee members. And it appears that that list was not run by the select board and approved by the select board, and perhaps some of the people named were not asked if they wanted to serve on the steering committee. or either that or they just forgotten that they were asked. Anyway, I've been advised by people from the EPA that we're not locked into having those people on the steering committee, and there's not a set number. The list supplied with the application had 13 members listed. You're not required to have 13. You could have, let's say 9, or you could go to 17 or 21. You could find that many people interested in serving. I have sent out a description of the role and responsibilities of the steering committee members. I think we copied you, select board, on that. And I've sent it out to everybody that was named on that list in the application, and asked them to respond if they do want to serve. And so far, one person has said no, and another person has said yes. But before we get started, I thought that the select board might want to know about all this, and to perhaps officially name the steering committee instead of who knows who. I mean, I don't think you would want me picking the steering committee members.
I think the steering committee was put together pretty quickly prior to an interview process that we were going through as part of the application. So
The interview
it
was in
not appointed.
April.
Yeah,
Yeah, the application was submitted last October.
right. But then so I think the steering committee was put together for the interview specifically. It was immediately prior.
I was under the impression that that steering committee list was submitted last October along with the application.
Well, not as far as I'm aware, but anyway, maybe.
Okay.
But
All right.
it was not select board appointed, that's for sure. Yeah.
So would the select board like to appoint the steering committee? That's the question at hand.
I think we should ask for volunteers, and then we can appoint from people that are interested.
So you would like to appoint? Yeah, totally agree with asking
Yeah.
volunteers. The question tonight is, would the select board like to appoint, right? Procedural question.
Yes.
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 Do you need a motion, Carl? I think that's pretty clear.
And just another point of clarification, there is this steering committee that will be involved right up front in preparing for the main event, which is a 2-day visit by these federal employees and consultants. That will include a tour around town, and then basically a day and a half of meetings, to which the general public is invited. I get the impression that what they're looking for from the steering committee are both individuals who are maybe knowledgeable in Johnson that can help with some of the logistics and have some interest in here, but also some other people who might be more in touch with the recreation economy or the outdoor recreation economy in Vermont. And that is where maybe somebody from the state, or maybe several from the state, come in.
Could ask somebody from, say, Vermont Huts, or the Green Mountain Club, or Kingdom Trails. This is an opportunity for us to reach out far and wide to some big organizations that are successful in recreation economy, to then be present and understand what we have here in Johnson for bones, and then how to make it a new recreation economy. And so we have these great kind of a think tank of some of the best minds in Vermont and federal support to do so. It's a really we're one of 25 towns in the country. It's really a pretty amazing award that we were able to get this in the country. In the country, that's right.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Reaching outside of the town would be really smart.
Yeah, because there's a lot of opportunity for the local residents and businesses to provide input. So
know when those meetings are.
We'll continue checking with those 13 people who were named on that list and then see about recruiting some others. And if you have any ideas about some good candidates, people that would provide some beneficial input, I'd like to hear it.
Maybe we should reach out to those 13 again and specifically ask that question for outside other ideas of other established parties that we might
Mhm.
approach.
Yes, I was one of the one that said no. I intended to do that because their niche, their input that would be helpful.
Okay. Thank you very much, Carl.
Yep, thank you very much.
Sorry, I'm making a note. Next up, financial policies. Is that not quite ready and we can continue? Which is
Yeah, I
fine.
think just the update is, Rosemary and I, once she's finalized these numbers and reviewed them, we'll get together and kind of put together those drafts. Do you want them on the 20th, sorry, or do you want them in the first meeting in November?
Whenever they're ready.
I love that answer. I'll let you know.
Next meeting.
Perfect.
Library relocation. You want to take that one, Tom?
So really, I think we're getting really close to having final bid documents ready. I think mechanical came in. Today I got an email from Civil, just kind of updating one error that was on that. And I think we're getting really close. Once we put together this, get the foundation underway, I think we're going to be really close to putting things out to bid. We are waiting on a structural. Have you heard anything else on that? I think we're waiting on a structural engineer to confirm 3 points. Shear load point between the wall and the floor, connection point between the foundation and the walls. But I know RK Miles did put together a truss package for us that is acceptable. So I think we're getting closer. We said those 2 points and then we're ready to bid for the entire project. And with the foundation and utilities completed this fall, that puts us in great position just to continue framing over the winter. So we can.
When will the engineers be done?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Or just those 2 connection points, I think, are what we're waiting on. You can reach out to the architect and ask them.
That would be nice. Seems like we just hear this a lot. Waiting on engineers. Anything else in the library?
Just really excited for the next one.
These foundation bids,
Huh?
foundation bids, is that the next item?
That's the next item.
Very exciting.
Very. Where are they?
In the back.
Was this the official opening for the public?
The official opening to the public. Do you want to read them aloud or do you want me to read them aloud?
I'm just gonna give the totals. You have them somewhere. You can read them all aloud if you want.
Keep
I
going.
know where the totals are. Is that the email?
After
In the back, keep going, keep going, keep going.
There.
Okay. So we received 3 bids for the library foundation and utilities. One was from GW Tetro in the amount of $184,100. One was from Isaac's Excavating in the amount of $163,275. The other was from D Tetro Construction in the amount of $136,000. We also, in our packet, received the library's recommendation to go with GW Tetro. because of their reputation, the ability to complete the work in a timely manner, given the short time frame. Also, the library is recognizing the amount that GW Teacher has donated to the project already. I believe we have a recommendation from Silver Ridge to go with the low bidder. And their advice is to confirm that all bidders have received the addendum and begun a negotiation with Gale Tetro Construction LLC to make sure that all the work has been included in its bid. What would the board like to do?
I guess I have a
Guess we
question
can
about the
discuss.
three bids. Are they've all signed on that they can get it done this fall?
Condition to respond that utility work and road work have to be done before November 1st, and the foundation to be completed by December 1st.
So that's a condition of all three bids.
Yeah.
I'll move.
There's no punitive damages, right? So we don't hit the dates.
Say that again?
It's no like punitive damages.
Like what if you don't get it done?
If they don't get it done on time, they don't get it done on time.
I guess we would have had to have that in the RFP if we're gonna have them, right?
Uh,
Would we have had to have that in the RFP if we were going to have such clauses?
Yeah,
Think.
it's common on school jobs.
You got a deadline, you gotta hit somehow.
I think Peter was gonna say something.
Can I make a motion?
You can say whatever you would like, Peter.
Really?
I would.
I will make a motion to award the contract to GW Tetro
In the amount of,
in the amount of $184,000.
there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second it so we can discuss it, sure.
Okay, motion and a second. Further discussion. What did we carry in our grant for this?
We budgeted 100,000 for the foundation and an additional 100,000 for utility connections. We already paid the village, I believe it was 15,700, which means all three bids are under budget for both those.
Yeah.
So I'll speak to the reason I have made the motion, and really is captured by the library's recommendation. Speaking to the reputation of the company, their ability to work quickly and with expertise gives us the best chance of completing this part of the project on time. I think that's a good statement of why we should award the bid to GW Tetro.
Certainly. It's
And as the letter from Silver Ridge Design said, I'm in receipt of letters from the library board recommending GW Tetro for all the right reasons.
Did I miss that? I mean, I only saw this just barely in the meeting.
Right.
Oh, yeah, at the bottom. He recommends both.
Yeah, right. That's really helpful. Thank you.
That's handy. I guess it's covered by reimbursement. This project's getting expensive, but we still got some leeway, right? Further discussion?
Do we have experience contracting with D. Tetro and or Isaac? Whatever that is, Isaac's Construction, Excavation.
Can I speak? We're preparing the ground for where the library is currently sitting. Tetros did all of the excavation work for us in a very quick, timely manner, and then they donated that to us.
That was GW Tetro.
That was
GW Tetro.
D. Tetro did the foundation that's underneath the current library, right?
The prep work for the foundation.
No, they did the
They
whole
poured
foundation.
the concrete.
Yeah, they poured the concrete and filled the pockets and did the,
Oh,
Dale
GW.
Tatro.
Dale Tetro, okay. GW
They did-
Tetro did all the foundation,
Yeah.
or prepping for. the foundation.
And D Tatro did the municipal building work.
They've also stepped, GW, I believe, did a lot of the ice jam removal, is that correct?
2019.
Oh, way back when.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of it, except,
And Greg and Don have been more than giving to this community. No, it's just a generalized comment. I mean, they helped out a
No,
lot
no argument,
in
of course.
2023.
That's certainly true.
They're very giving people, and I thank them for that. I'm not saying that would be my only reason. We've worked with both. I don't know if I've never worked with Isaacs.
Yeah, I've only spoken to him at just on the phone and then at the site visit. I've never heard that before prior. But
Yeah.
They did have good references and they had experience as well.
They're right in the range
think-
too.
Any one of the three is an excellent choice. So.
But the current motion is for GW. Further questions, concerns, comments, questions?
Nope.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And the ayes have it. Thank you very much for reviewing.
Yes.
Thank you for showing up, Chief. You're supposed to take that with you, but I think Adrian would like to sign it.
Again, I need to put the town seal on it.
Yeah, it'll be ready at some point.
We already have it.
Yeah. Next up, salt RFP review and award. As Tom stated in his packet, we only received one bid on salt from Compass. That was for an amount up to 500 tons for $99.09 a delivered ton.
as the place in the past.
4 years ago, it was Barrett's, and I think the last 3 years, maybe 3 years ago was Barrett's, and the last 2 years is Compass. Or was it Cargill? Was it Cargill? Okay,
And then switched to Compass 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. No, it was before my
that
time.
was before you.
It would have been 3 years ago, switched to
Yeah.
Compass.
So Cargill.
What was the road
It's a-
crew happy with Compass?
Yes.
The road crew likes Compass. And the state will not allow us to purchase at their cost.
I don't get
We
it.
talked about this last year. didn't
I
we?
know we did, and I don't understand why they won't let us do it. We should be all in this together to try to save as much money as possible.
I reached out to them this fall. That was before they put it back out to bid, but I did ask that there be a clause in the next, which will be for next winter, not this one, that when you put it out to bid, there should be some clause that if you're going, we pay you as tax dollars for the Office of Purchasing and Contracting to do the work. And so the municipalities, to make it a clause that municipalities are also eligible at that same rate.
If I'm not mistaken, it was like $20 a ton cheaper.
That's correct. I think it was 90. I wanna say
$18.92.
75.
1892, yeah. What is close to that?
79.42 is what they pay. So exactly.
How much?
79.42.
Okay, so $20.
And Compass already delivers to Morrisville, so it's not like they're driving out of their way, it's right on the same route.
If they can sell it to the state for $20 cheaper, they ought to be able to sell it to us.
It's not $20, Mike. It's 1931.
Oh, you horses.
It's about 20%.
How many tons do we buy?
500.
We can't afford to buy 500.
Say 400 to 500, I think we bought 350 last year.
Yeah, we budget 38,000, Rosemary, so 380 tons would fill that line at this cost.
So last year we paid $96.20. $3
But the year before, we paid $100.02.
$3 increase doesn't sound too bad, but I agree with Mike, we ought to get it for state price.
We're getting ripped off. Nothing new.
Right? There's only, is there 3 companies that supply it? So it doesn't really matter what this one charges. Does the board want to make a motion to approve the per ton cost of $99.09, provided that we don't exceed our budgeted line item for road salt? And just so you know, we're approving this, but none of this has to do with salt this winter ideally. Because we already have all the salt for this winter. They get it all delivered in the spring.
Yeah.
And we store it all summer. But it would only go up next summer, so it saving.
Maybe if we can get a deal with the state. Right?
When
Next
when do we
year.
think the next year state thing will come out?
This,
Ooh, I should
What do you think?
this price is only good until October 9th. So if we don't sign it tonight, there's a risk. It could go up, could go down.
But when do we expect the new resolution or whatever it is that you asked to be a clause in municipalities? Be
Yes,
eligible as well?
for it last year.
Yeah, and they're filling out
Every
their
year,
contract.
so it's probably not gonna happen again.
The state is not very efficient, Paul.
What makes you say that?
If we don't need it, we shouldn't buy it.
We
What
do
the
need it
heck, I'll
next
throw my
year.
hat in the ring. I motion to approve the Compass Minerals price per ton of $99.09 for road salt, provided that we do not exceed the budgeted line item for road salt. I made a motion.
Seconded.
All right, let's talk about it.
I don't think we should do it.
I hear you. Who do we need to push here, Tom? Do you have emails to the state? Could you
I
send
do.
them to me and I could send them to our representatives and see if that,
I think this year was on the phone. I do have last year's state correspondence. I think what I do, if I start a conversation with them tomorrow, copying you guys on, asking for the question, and then we'll get a full response to everybody. And then that work.
It sounds fun to me.
it would be great if the next select board was not asking the same question.
Hopefully we can get it resolved before the next board. Oh, Peter's board.
Yeah, any dream. Paul's not guaranteed.
There we go. Come on, don't give us that.
All those in favor with the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye. Nay.
All those opposed?
Good idea, so.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay. Motion fails. I voted aye, but 2-2 doesn't matter. We need Adrian. Adrian,
Didn't hear you vote. Did you vote aye?
I voted aye,
Okay, so it's tied.
which means that it fails.
Okay.
We need 3 board members to agree.
He voted aye on that, but he didn't vote aye on concrete. He let the 3 of us
Okay,
pick that.
I guess we're gonna need to see that next meeting for a tiebreaker.
I'll have to get a new quote because this one expires.
Fine. If it's less, maybe we'll wait longer.
Oh, you watch it be $2 more.
You don't have to get a new quote. Just ask them if they could extend their price.
No. There's no quote.
What happens if it goes
It's not
up?
gonna go down.
Right.
Who do we address at the state, try to get this resolved in our favor?
I was talking with,
I mean, technically speaking, this quote is invalid. Right? It was delivered on September 2nd, and it says this quotation is open and acceptable for 30 days following the date of issue. Today is past the 2nd, so
she sent me an email.
It says price is effective through April 30th, 2026. Right there.
so they are contradicting themselves.
Kind of.
She said,
If it's
please be
effective-
advised. our
Oh, no,
proposal-"
that locks this price once we accept it. We accept the quoted price and that locks our price
Oh, I see what you
until
mean.
April 30th.
Okay, I see what you mean. Got it.
The quote
Let's go
was
itself.
September 2nd, and it's good for 30 days.
Our email this morning, this afternoon, sorry, said, please be advised that our price proposal sent on September 2nd is set to expire on Thursday, October 9th. If you would like to move forward under the current pricing, please confirm by October 9th, the latest, in which we will no longer be able to honor the pricing or availability after that date.
Say they sent us something in writing that says different, so the board is under that.
What governs it? Sure, I guess there was a clarifying email that didn't make it in the packet. That's fine, but maybe they can extend it to our next meeting.
So we had an RFP that was due 10/1 and she just sent us a renewal email that said, hey, this is our new pricing this year. And then that's what triggered the, hey, we have to put this out to bid. I don't know if you remember in the middle of September, I asked that question. Or maybe it was beginning of September. I asked, do you want to go out to bid or not? And so I put it out to bid, and they responded with the same renewal rate. So they probably should have changed the date, but I think they sent it to me on September 9th as part of the response to the RFP.
Anyway, this dead horse has been.
Either
beaten
way.
up.
What was the price the state gets?
This is $79.13.
79.42,
42.
You were wrong.
I was.
District 8.
So you're a numbers
Isn't that
guy.
something?
Are
I'm gonna
they
chalk that up.
Every day.
Oh, right.
Chalk that up.
Contract number 40745.
Okay, so you will start a conversation with the state tomorrow and copy us on it, as well as, I guess, see if they'll hold their quote for 2 weeks, because we didn't have a full board at our meeting.
We need to talk to Richard Westman.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Richie, Dan, anybody?
Next up,
The state should deliver it and make sure it's ours.
tandem next steps. Does everybody remember that wonderful conversation we had about a truck that we can't use?
And can't get, no real answer.
It doesn't start, or it starts and moves, but it doesn't operate, something like that. There's another solution. Don't really know if the board wants to do it or not. But one thing that didn't come up in the meeting was potentially purchasing it outright, and I don't know how everybody's feelings are. I don't know Tom, Rosemary, or the board feels about it. It's just an option that didn't come into anybody's mind at the meeting.
I thought it did.
No, most of that meeting, from what I can recollect, was we could lease it for a year and pay interest on that to the tune of $15,000. Or we could pay the floor plan fee to the tune of $40 a day, $80 a day, whatever it was.
Too much money anyway.
It was a lot. So how does the board want to handle it? I mean, I don't know if we even really made a decision. We talked about if there were penalties and cancellation.
But we were also worried about the warranty. When the warranty would start, and didn't he say that they would finagle away to start the warranty once it was ready to roll?
He did.
With a caveat,
Up to
they can
1 year.
only update the in operation date for warranty up to 1 year after the purchase. So if we purchased it in
Yeah,
October of this year and we didn't actually start using it until December of next year,
we'd lose a year on it without
we'd
even
lose-
using it.
We'd lose 2 months because they could update it to October.
So just stepping back from this whole thing, it strikes me the more I thought about it after that meeting that I understand we want to be collaborative and supportive and it's a local business and so forth. But the reality is they're basically asking us to bail them out from having made what turned out to be a bad business decision. They sold us a package deal. We didn't get it. That's not our fault. I don't think we should be paying for it. We shouldn't be paying all of it, certainly. So just fundamentally, I guess I have a problem with this. You know, they're a business, they made a decision to sell us a package deal and blew up on it. But I don't feel great about asking the taxpayers to bail out.
I am against paying any more for that truck than we decided on paying.
Okay,
The only option I saw, I guess there's multiple, we could cancel it.
yeah, that puts us even further behind, so.
It does. We could just tell Allegiance, you guys gotta eat it,
We don't say anything.
or we could purchase the truck only at what we were already planning on paying. Now, that's not an ideal situation, but we would take out a loan for a truck that we can't use and be making payments on the schedule we're used to making them on.
And so the concerns about that were, as at the last meeting, that means we're still using the truck we have, which impacts the trade, which he said they would sort of probably honor, but
As long
I
as
didn't really
nothing
hear that
changed.
being concrete. And secondly, then we got maintenance and inspection and all that stuff, which are costs. So anyway, you slice it, I think it's costing us more money. And I don't like it.
Cancel and go with a different vendor.
Problem with that is it would be a 2-year wait for a new truck.
Yeah.
And the oldest truck is already costing us $15,000 to $20,000 a year, which is roughly half of a payment. Well,
Is
a
it?
little less than half a payment.
Quarter.
How much is a payment now? 40,000?
Weren't we paying like 56,000 a year, planning on 56,000 for this truck? And it's right here.
You know, and I'm not saying that we should do this, but didn't we sell a grader a number of years ago to Bakersfield? And they're still using this ticket thing? You know, it's, a lot of towns don't have to have the greatest and the best stuff every 7 years or so. And they get by with a lot of their older equipment. And they don't put such a burden on their taxpayers. Granted, there are maintenance costs and everything else that you have to pay, but some of these towns must balance that and understand that a maintenance cost might be actually less than owning a new vehicle. So,
It is. We were planning 52. 14, no, $15,000 a year in
So what are the pros and cons of buying it now?
maintenance. We're all looking at Rosemary.
In Rosemary?
I mean, taking the loan out now, or you mean?
Well, let's start
Paying
with using our own
cash.
money.
Hmm?
Start with using our own money,
Okay,
pros and cons.
I don't think we can pay cash, can we?
no, we can't, we don't have that kind of money in the capital equipment fund.
We need like 198,000.
Mhm.
First, how much would they let us? First question is, I made it clear this, that Q2, which is, it would be completed by July 1. That
Next
slot
year,
is, yeah, that's when it's scheduled at Viking. That's their slot, not ours. So if we cancel it, we have to get back in line in like 2 years.
that's taking the body on. it.
Correct. If we paid,
Can you pay for the truck and not the body?
That's the 198,000.
yeah.
The truck is 198,000. The body fit up is 112.
What if, would International let us make a principal only payment of 52,000, what we budgeted to International to help them with their interest, but not, that way we would not be on the hook for any additional interest for our interest. They'd be helping them with what they're paying at $4,000 a month or whatever they said it was. So that way we budgeted, we're not paying any more than we budgeted. We're not gonna blow our budget. We're not gonna, but we are helping them by making it a payment in advance. And in the past,
The down payment.
exactly. In the past, we've done at another town where you make a payment when you order the truck, and then depends on where you are with your capital equipment fund, but sometimes you're making a payment. So that way, your second payment is on the date of when you receive the truck, and that way and then your third payment is you pay it on your second year, and that way you have the truck, you own the truck before you have to complete out your term with it. Or you can, or you pay it when you receive the truck, doesn't matter, you can pay early or you can pay on time, and if we paid early, it would ultimately reduce the amount of interest, because that 52,000 included interest. Where if we paid 52,000 principal only, they would have to agree to that as a down payment, with no payment to be expected until after July 1st. And this next budget we're planning, then we would actually come out on top, because we would be reducing the total interest paid. That would help them and it would help us.
I could support that.
It would help them in the short run.
Yeah.
I mean, they were gonna get that 52,000 anyway, so in the overall, it doesn't help them, does it?
Hoping that they'll say it does.
I mean, it helps cash flow.
Helps
Yeah.
with cash flow, if they hit curtailment or something.
And that's why we can, that way we can kind of shake hands and meet in the middle. It helps them offset while it helps us.
We're gonna have to meet them in the middle, or they're gonna have to meet us in the middle, because we can't bankroll the whole thing for their mistake.
I like Tom's suggestion.
Can you run through that suggestion again?
So we budgeted.
Just make it 50.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, 50,000, which was a first payment on a truck. That payment includes interest and principal. If we were to pay them, which we budgeted for, if we pay 50,000 as a down payment to International next week,
Be to allegiance.
Allegiance, that would be, because it's a down payment and we don't have a loan on that vehicle, it would be principal only. And ultimately reducing the total amount of interest paid on that truck.
We're just basically paying it early.
And then we wouldn't blow our budget and we would be saving some money in the end.
Make a motion with what Tom
Well,
said.
hang on. I hear it. I'm just. What was the July 1 balance? Rosemary?
For the
Capital equipment.
187,000.
Why am I not seeing that?
On the
Oh,
bottom
second
of the
page. Yep.
185, 127.
And the extra 10,000 is already in there, or will
No.
go in there?
That's for at the end of next year.
Okay. So July 1, we had 188,000. So we 4 to 1 year ahead of 50,000, do you think?
So
We've already, that money includes the money we bought the pickup truck last year. So that's already out of there.
Wait a minute. That's, oh, it's 185, sorry.
180 some odd thousand.
I was on the wrong one. Here. Oh. Circle. Is the pickup truck already out of it?
It's already out of there.
Oh,
Because we bought that before July 1.
Yes.
Okay. And we only have, what, greater payments?
So a truck.
Yeah.
payment.
2019 truck
Don't pay
payment,
attention.
2021 truck payment.
2019 must be paid off. We paid for 5 years. 2021.
Yeah, 2019's paid off. That's going for the 2021, so 2020
This is our
Foreman truck and the grader and the tractors ending payments this year. Board cool with that? Would like to know. if
That's a
those
good
guys-
compromise.
You tell me we're not going bankrupt by doing it.
No,
Get
we
behind
shouldn't.
it.
Oh, I see. So,
Yeah, I was off on mine too.
yeah, for some reason,
50,000 is fine, because we were planning 49,955 one
Yeah.
line.
and that must be from the formal proposal that we signed. then.
Yeah, I mean, you can scroll up a little bit. Where you'll see the 2019 truck replacement. What's in there?
Got it.
See, it's 319,611 with 100,000 salvage, so we have to take out 216 at a 5% interest, which would make the total cost X. And that's just divided by 5. That's where that 49 comes from. So the board's cool with proposing that? Tom, you wanna throw that at him? And it will be principal only.
But yeah, because we don't have a loan, so it would be,
We're not paying interest.
and
Is the board comfortable with that? Do you want a formal motion? I think we're very clear about it, but we can
I'm
make.
behind it.
a motion would be great, so then
I think we
Rosemary,
should
if
have-
they say yes, Rosemary could write a check tomorrow.
We'll move what Tom said.
Second one.
No, let's be clear here.
Yeah, I think I would like a little more.
Paul,
I move that we authorize Tom to propose to Alliance,
allegiance.
that we make an initial payment of, Tom, fill the blank,
49,955
Killing me.
and 19 cents.
$49,955.19 as a principal payment, an advanced principal payment, with the goal of helping them with their cash flow and paying for their interest. But we're not paying interest. Sorry, that was awkward.
Fair enough.
Well, I think.
That's a clear motion.
Is that clear enough, Tom?
I think so.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And the ayes have it.
Hey, Eric.
While we're talking about trucks, we really gotta get this in our planning meeting. I think we should decouple the whole process and just authorize Jason to schedule out builds for the next 8 years.
Absolutely.
Especially if there's no down payment, just get like a build slot at Viking for the town. That way, we could just cancel a truck if we don't have it and order another truck, but it would be
Go for the body.
only if it costs nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm not looking to spend a nickel here, but if he could. We'll talk about it at our next meeting.
Yeah.
You got that as agenda item?
Thanks for coming up with that, Tom. Good idea.
Fell out of
That's
my-
wonderful. Is there anything we need for the special select board meeting for a little lecture hall?
There is, it was over 2,000, so I wanted to check with you guys. There, do lead and asbestos, I have, it's in the packet in the very back, 2 items. One is Evergreen Environmental, wanted, lead was 1,200, asbestos was $825 plus $12 per sample, with an unknown number, but she said a minimum of 3.
Minimum 3 per site, per,
3 per, yeah, so like drywall, insulation, caulking or whatever, yeah.
so so if you did drywall, caulking and whatever, it'd be 9. At least that's the way I read it.
Oh, okay, yeah,
I
okay.
think it's 3 each.
I misinterpreted the phone call, but that, you
Well, I
know more
think
about
that's
this than all of us.
I think that's what it said.
Yeah.
Where it's at now.
Oh, you're right, of each distinct possible asbestos containing material.
So you need,
And then a second quote for the same was 1,400 for asbestos and 1,200 for lead. So 2,600 versus 2,000 plus samples. And that's just for that testing. So if you guys, do you want to move forward with lead and asbestos, or do you want to wait and see?
Well, the one with the PCBs, lead, asbestos, and PCBs, $2,200.
We would authorize an amount to 2,000. I think that's what.
Yeah,
it's
I
going
understand
back
that.
to.
Yeah, I get it, but I'm just saying PCBs. Now, usually the PCBs are in oil, the whole transformers, and there's no transformers in the building. It says this is from the EPA, electrical heat transfer, hydraulic equipment, plasticizers and paints, plastic and rubber products, pigments and dyes and carbonless copy paper, other industrial applications. I don't, okay, transformers and capacitors, electrical equipment, voltage regulators, oil used in motors, oil electrical devices, cable insulation, oil-based paints, plastics, carbons, floor finishes. I mean, they could be minute, okay? And what I've read over the years, the PCBs aren't quite as bad as they put them out many years ago. But because the government had made such an issue over it, they have to stick with it. Even though they're finding out they're probably not as bad as they said that they used to be. So I don't know if you want to spend that kind of money or not. Now, I would think maybe the day of the vote, the people brought it up, and they had some caveat that they'd like this tested and bring it back again.
And you got the pricing.
You got the pricing,
Okay.
okay? I don't think we should spend that kind of money. I think we should get the bare minimum for the building inspection. And maybe just asbestos, if we could carve that out.
I think we can do that as both. One was $825 plus an estimated 24 samples at $12, which is 288. So that's,
And I can't believe, you know, I had somebody do a lead test on a building that was gonna be a rental. And it was, I don't know, $100 or something. It wasn't really that much. I mean, granted, it was 5 or 6 years ago. But I can't believe that cost that much. I would like lead and asbestos, because that's the big deal. Most people don't even think about PCBs.
So I guess I'm confused. Where are PCBs in these two quotes?
Yeah.
Why are we talking about PCBs?
It's in Tom's radar.
It's in Tom's right up.
Okay, it's not in either one of these quotes.
no, and that's like a whole nother level of testing.
Okay. Sorry.
So
So the
So
$2,200 doesn't include PCBs.
yeah.
Yes, it does.
And if I said that wrong, I think that's correct.
It said lead, asbestos, PCBs, 2,200.
That's Tom's write-up.
Yeah,
That's not what's
It's
quoted.
not, that was based on the request of the board, and it did not include,
So what were the lead asbestos quotes?
lead was 1,200 from one company and
Good grief.
1,200 from the other company. Asbestos was $825 plus $288. That's $1,100 from one company and $1,400 from the other company.
We're getting sold a bill of goods again. Really.
If
Every time a municipality is mentioned, everybody just thinks we have deep pockets. I really believe that.
the testing, that's just for lead and asbestos. I have 2 quotes for building inspections, and if you guys, those were less than 2,000, but I felt like when you put it all together, you asked me to do kind of all of it. One was $885 and the other was $1,014. That includes radon. If you wanted to do radon.
I bet you a dime to the honest, Joe Small will call up one of these companies. It'd be a lot cheaper than that.
Either way, how would the board like to proceed?
Let me ask a stupid question. Do we have to test for lead or can we just assume it's there? It's an old building.
We could assume there's asbestos there.
But then you got mitigation. How much does that cost? That's the rub.
I think that's why we wanted the information. on
Yeah, we did
what's
want the
there.
information, but I don't like the prices. It really irritates me to no end.
We could just do a formal building inspection and come town meeting. Ask the voters if they approve, could they approve with a contingency, although it's non-binding.
The building inspection will likely tell us if there's likelihood of asbestos or lead without confirmation from a test.
In a copy paste disclaimer.
But that's probably the most inclusive. There'll be a lot of information in the building inspection.
I say let's test for it. What do you think,
Or-
Paul?
We could do a building inspection and then ask the voters if they want to do thorough testing of the building prior to making a decision.
Must be an
Prior to us
echo.
making it.
It's an echo.
It gets tricky, right? Because they say, yes, we want it, and we go, do you want us to do lead testing?
Yeah.
Or asbestos, well, yeah, we do. All right, so do you want us to just say no, depending upon the results? Want to have another town meeting?
Right.
We know, we also have other old buildings in town, that we never tested and we're still using them.
For the life of me,
And
if the art school, remember, we had a meeting, they didn't like it because somebody had got wind that there was $2 million that they were gonna put into that building. I find it very hard to believe that they hadn't had all these tests done themselves.
That's where we started. I agree with you. I found that hard to believe also, but they told you they have not.
They have not. And I mean, that 1.9 million was lifting the building up.
Oh, I know
There
the
was like a
whole thing.
lot.
Their first class stuff, they talked about it. But
Yeah,
I still can't believe that even when they bought the building, that they didn't have some of that stuff done.
and the total renovation would have remediated the lead and asbestos by the nature of doing a total renovation.
you just wouldn't have had to take care of the material the same way if you didn't know. That's right?
That's true.
Genius. What's the board want to do? I say let's do it. Let's get the information,
Do what?
the full shebang.
The whole thing, over $3,000.
Why not?
Why not? Well, I look at it this way here. It's a waste of $3,000 if the town people say they don't want to do it.
For sure.
But if that's
But
why
if
they
they
say
say-
they don't
if
want
they
to do it, then
say-
it's well spent.
Well put, Paul.
Yeah,
But
well,
also,
they can also go back onto us. Say, we'd like it done before we vote on it,
before we vote on it,
before we approve it. Table it. Somebody could say, I move that we table this whole thing.
You're not surprised. Somebody said that.
I would be. Maybe we could table it till town meeting there. That is an option instead of another special town meeting, just say. I can get behind that.
But
Tell
what
me.
Vermont Studio Center allow, we're up against their 90-day.
They didn't get
Sure,
that,
you know,
so-
I think they've been more than
That's right.
gracious and just want, has it,
How about if we
Has
do the
anybody
building
heard-
inspection? Hold off on the expensive testing and get the building inspector's impression of the likelihood of lead and asbestos being in the building that would need to be addressed during renovations.
Like Tom said, to go with the
Like
cheap
Tom
one.
said, gives us the information or pretty good indication of what the tests are gonna show. And if the voters want more information prior to us making a decision, then so be it.
So what was the cheapest one for the,
$1,000?
885, so it's 700 for the inspection, 185 for radon if you wanted to do radon.
so move?
And these two are comparable in all other ways. I mean, The difference between 800 and 1,000 is,
That fits within our previous motion. I think we're just giving direction.
Okay,
Yeah, so I can just do those, but when you put it all together, it was high. That's why I was like,
okay.
yeah, thank you for that.
Go with that 885.
if they can't, they could have done it as soon as October 16th. If that date is no longer available for the information to be ready for the 24th, I'll use the other one. Okay, so that way we'll have it. for
Yeah,
the
we need it by
October.
the meeting. Absolutely.
And then I'll keep calling around as well and find out.
Good.
Is there
Very
anything
proactive.
else? Is there anything else we need? We need to answer the question of why. Moving on. Anything under old business? I guess, Tom, you can take that up. I leave the TSSA there, but it's gonna be coming up more, right?
Yeah. I think that's gonna get more complicated the more we dive into it, so.
All you gotta do is read any one of Duncan's emails and it gets complicated.
Yeah, so I'm glad we're taking it on. The time.
Okay, the last thing we have by my notes is an executive session. This one's really fun. So I would entertain a motion. It's a two-part.
Before we go there, I make the comment. I'm concerned about signing all these things. They're just passing down the road. And can't possibly read them. You have no idea what the hell's in them. Not
You
really.
don't see me read it?
I see you flipping through them.
That's why,
I can't read that
that's why you
fast.
get no time. Mike takes all the time up.
Yeah, well, does it? Pete, did you read this? You know,
I
it's-
haven't even seen them yet.
okay,
And
so
she needs
I'm
three.
just
sig-
concerned. I
she
don't know
needs
what,
three
I don't know a better way
signatures.
to do it, but
Those need 3 signatures for the checks to go out. We, at one point, put 15 minutes in the meeting for everybody to review the main sheet. The time sheets, we did.
okay, maybe it's because I'm new to this, but that's a lot. As far as I'm concerned. And I don't know how to find the main sheet to know.
There are other
It's the one that's on the folder of the manila.
where, you know, if Rosemary, right now, we do it, Rosemary prepares those orders the day of the meeting, so there's like, there was probably 2 or 3 last minute that came in today to fit in there, if not more. Where we could create a policy that the orders need to be put in on the Thursday or the Wednesday or the whole week before. It doesn't matter, as long as you're paying bills every other week, you're never gonna be behind. But if say they did the orders on the Monday of the off week, and then they could scan and email the invoice to you guys to look at, and then say, okay, out of the invoice edit list, I want to see this one, and this one. They'd scan the invoices anyways, because they're on the server. It wouldn't be, it would add a little bit of work, but it wouldn't be the end of the world, or you can do it in the meeting. That is, I think they did that during COVID, is that correct? They scanned it and emailed it?
Well, we used to have a meeting that we went over, like you were talking,
We were,
15
at one point, we
minutes.
were reading them.
Yeah, we read them
We
out.
read it out loud.
It was a lot of work on Rosemary. Because
So I-
basically what we did was we said, timesheets, we're not worried about. Vermont Department of Taxes, the IBEW, you'll see there's payments to the union for our union employees.
Yeah.
Not
Those are just
a ton of
recurring
saying that,
taxes.
but what's on the cover of the manila folder,
Yeah, this is.
so sorry.
It's more because I don't think last time you got, because I wasn't here. I
Yeah,
don't think you got the.
what's on that is like our out of normal expenses. And even in that, Paul, there's gonna be salt or, normal expenses that you'll see. We'd have Rosemary go through and highlight anything out of normal. And then we would go through and review all those individually. It put all the workload on Rosemary. And at the
And I'm
time,
not-
there was
Yeah, this is all
sensitivity.
payroll, these are invoices.
I'm not suggesting that's a great plan. I don't want to add to the workload, but also more concerned about when it's not Rosemary sitting there. Somebody's got to review these in detail. And I don't.
A
I'm not doing
board,
justice.
a board appointee. And Beth did a great job. Beth Foy,
The board can appoint one board member to sign it.
we can.
Appoint a non-board member to review them, not part of the board.
We could.
Other towns have the administrator or the manager be responsible for the budget. So they would prepare the invoices before a meeting and then the administrator also signs off on the warrant before it goes before the board. And that's way, if there's any questions, the administrator sees them, asks the treasurer questions, and that way at the meeting, the administrator or the manager is like, okay, like, this is what I found that's out of line, and it kind of is prepared, but right now, I don't see those either, you know, so if Rosemary's not here and you have a set of invoices, you know, and there has been times where we just say, okay, well, let's pay it all but that, we don't know about that. So whether it's one board member or whether it's a staff, you know, I think having a review makes a lot of sense.
I've just thrown it out there for consideration for the future. I think I would like to see some sort of a report on this stuff. Here's the stuff that's atypical, out of budget.
And I think it would have to be, you'd have to change the procedure, so instead of doing the invoices, which kind of was alluded to earlier, they're done.
Do a week ahead.
Yeah, they're done, they finish around 3:30, 3:45, literally right before the day's meeting, but if they were done on the off week,
Right.
then you have a whole week to research, and you can always add the late bills as a separate invoice. Do 2 APs if there's an emergency, but it would allow that time for review by the board.
Is that workable? Logistics standpoint? Okay, I'm not proposing a formal change or anything at this point. I just want to throw it out for.
Interested in
see how we
change.
are on that.
You gotta put your best foot forward.
You do.
Fine.
The reason we got away from that 15 minutes is there were some board members that complained about the amount of time that we spent in meetings reviewing invoices.
I did not ever complain about
Why?
invoices. I used to catch stuff. Matter of fact, I caught something on this building. Number of meetings ago. An invoice that was paid, it shouldn't have been paid, and we stopped payment, as you recall.
This is the single best fraud protection, is in local auditors or the select board
Which you don't
itself.
have any longer.
I don't think I've ever complained about director's orders.
I think you did.
I don't believe it.
I know.
I
Mark-
complain about,
Mark Woodward.
Outside
certainly.
auditors only
I
see
complain about
process
superfluous
and procedure.
talk.
They don't know the names.
Mhm.
which delays the
You
meeting.
guys actually know the names, so you say, wait a minute, why is this here?
Thank you for slowing me down, Paul,
Anytime.
because the other item that I had added before the executive session was an update on the interlocal laptop, and I think I just need some direction from the board. Town of Hyde Park, when we first hired an interlocal assessor, we used the Town of Hyde Park's board clerk's laptop for assessor services. And that laptop has run its course, and the Hyde Park Select Board would like to know if it's okay if their board clerk uses the same laptop as our lister, and it's the same person. I did talk with the chair of Hyde Park. She told me there's no confidential information or anything, it's basically meeting minutes. Did I make sense of that, Peter?
And Hyde Park did not charge us for that.
They did not charge us for their board clerk laptop, and they would like us to not charge them for our assessor laptop in return.
Nothing wrong with that.
Should we be charging the other towns?
This is between Hyde Park and Johnson.
I hear you, but you really want to go down that road?
No,
Okay.
no, I know.
How do you feel, Peter?
I think it sounds great.
Kumbaya.
Pushing you into a corner, but I will let them know. Wonderful.
Good with it.
Are we ready for an executive session now?
I pulled up the language on the last one on this topic.
You did?
Yeah. I was reading my writing.
This has to be a two-part one.
Oh, this is,
Sure. Just say,
Is
because
that covered in two parts?
I'd entertain a motion that we enter into executive session because premature public knowledge regarding storm drains would clearly place the town at a substantial disadvantage because of select board risking disclosure, and for that reason, I'd also entertain a motion that we enter into executive session as allowed under one BSA 313A1. B,
A1E.
it's just A1. So these sections, E, short. A, B, C, D, E. It's allowed by one BSA 313A1E. Somebody gonna make that motion?
It's two motions,
You
right?
do include
It
who's
is.
attending.
Yes,
I'll
who's
second the
attending?
motion.
Who's attending? Select board of Tom. I don't think Rosemary wants to be part of this.
No.
Okay. Who made the motion?
Peter did.
Peter made the motion.
Okay.
All seconded. Further discussion?
Are you doing it as two motions or as one?
It's like a one melded.
Okay.
Good with that?
I'm good with that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I.
All those
Aye.
opposed? The board is entering executive session at 8:25.